With Jan's arrival to Guilty Gear Strive, I figured I'd look at the character we have so far. She has 4 fighting games appearances between Guilty Gear X, Guilty Gear XX, Guilty Gear Accent Core, which is non-canon, and Guilty Gear Rev. We'll be checking out all these appearances she has in these games and trying to get a good idea of her character. As I always liked playing the character, but I never really deep dive into who she is.
面白いサンプルだ。
やったー！
早速解析して開発部に回せ。次のシミュレーション体はこいつがいいかもしれんな。
Jam came all the way from China in hopes of building her own restaurant. There are 2 top-ranking restaurants in China, Huma, making food with a whole lot of love in it, and Hanagata, who creates food with a whole lot of high-quality ingredients. Jam wishes to surpass the 2 and proves that you don't need either of the 2 and just need hard work. By going to the Devil's Forest for rare ingredients. I'm going to start this off by saying that Jam's motivation between games has always been inconsistent. In this game, she goes to the Devil's Forest for a bounty in some stories and for ingredients in others, and possibly looking for a boyfriend, evidenced by her judging every guide she sees except Testament and Potemkin. But on her list of likes and dislikes is well-built men, which hey, Potemkin may have a chance due to her not judging him. She finds Johnny to be brisque, so he's off the list, and doesn't like Venom because he's a man with shadows. Which, I know it's implying she has an idea of Venom's dark past, or that he is an assassin, but it looks bad saying that to a black character. She also goes after Zato bounty in Milia's story, and goes after Dizzy bounty and others. But in her own, she doesn't even know about any bounty in Devil Forest. Till Kai tell her, my bad. Even then, she doesn't try to harm Dizzy, possibly because she wasn't even aware Dizzy was a bounty in question, and was too focused on the rare ingredients at hand. In canon, she's the one to claim Dizzy bounty, since the world believed Dizzy disappeared thanks to Kai, Soul, May, Johnny, and Testament. Fun fact, in every special intro, Jam wins or ties in every interactions.
本当に迷惑かけて申し訳ないある。せめてものお詫びにご馳走するあるね。
たおやかなレイディーたちとの食事は望むところさ。なあ、ミリア君。
汚い手で私に触れないでくださる？
失礼した。君の美貌に酔ったようだ。
美貌だ。この女の本性を知らないからそんなことが言えるのだ。
今、なんて言った？
2人とも、お酒はそのぐらいにしたらどうあるか？
うるさい。お前のせいで、ザトウ様は。
私が生きるためよ。あんな男、何度だって殺すわ。
貴様！
と、せっかくのディナーだ。無粋な真似はなしにしようぜ。
うるさいわね。そこをどきなさい。
まあ、そう言わずに。
くらえ！レイムボガー！
おお！
刻め！アイアンメイデン！
As mentioned before, Jam used Dizzy bounty money to start her own restaurant. Said restaurant is then burned down by Robokai, but due to the smoke, she doesn't know who it was, so she goes around everywhere, assuming everyone's suspicious, and is trying to look for the culprit. from suspicious people from the likes of Soul, False, Kai, Aino, and Slayer. Slayer, however, is at the time investigating Jam's ability for Ki and gives her a hint of who possibly burned down her restaurant. In Path 1, she hunts down the arsonist and beat up Robo-Kai. In Path 2, after losing to Robo-Kai, she runs into Aino, who she assumed burned down the restaurant. After fighting her, Aino gives Jam a bunch of wanted posters so she can make some money for a new restaurant. She hunts down Venom, Milia, and Johnny, but she finds out that the posters Aino gave her were a bunch of fakes. Though Johnny probably would have gotten her some money anyway. Upon her finding all this out, she then confronts Aino and then beats her up. Afterwards, she gives a free meal to everyone she attacked due to the fake bounties, but Milia and Venom aren't exactly on great terms during the time, so they start fighting, like literally start fighting, and then end up destroying Jam's food stand, which I believe is the food stand you see in her stage. Path 3 is pretty much Path 1, but Kai instead comes in and helps her out. And it's not just fighting Robo-Kai, she also ends up fighting a bunch of brainwashed people, but after dealing with all that, Jam takes his chance to eat with Kai as a way to rizz him up. Mind you, at this time, he's already dating Dizzy. She probably doesn't know this, but she also, in later games, just shows she does not care. So, yeah. Which leads to our next entry. The non-canon entry where Jam gets a little bit more unhinged. Also, again, only wins and ties in this game when it comes to story mode intros.
ありがとうございます。おかげで助かりました。
お礼を言うならこっちあるよ。
いえ、民間人に累を及ぼしたのは我々の落ち度です。終戦管理局という団体が政府の上層部にまで食い込んでいるようなのです。
元気ないあるね。
情けないのです。奴らが法と正義を腐らせているというのに、私ときたら何も有効な手を打てないでいる。
そうやって落ち込んだら負けね。そういう時は美味しいもの食べるのがいいあるよ。
そうかもしれませんね。
せっかくいい日和ある。食べに行かないあるか？
しかし、仕事がありますので。ご迷惑をかけたお詫びです。ご一緒しましょう。
そこなくちゃ。ささ、元気出すあるよ。
So this non-canon story makes Jam extremely unhinged. She's already unhinged and has no filter, but we're covering it anyway because I feel that Action Core does have some interesting characterization and story implication that the main series never really engages in. And this game also just makes Jam completely filter off, mask off, which it can make it or break it for you. For me, it makes it for me because this is so funny. But anyway, Jam manages to rebuild her restaurant by taking out a loan, but her restaurant isn't doing as great as it once was. So she can't exactly pay off the loan, so she goes out to recruit more customers, like Slayer, Venom, Kai, and Chip. Though, like a true-blooded American, Jam is asked to vote for Chip, with her first question being if voting for him will remove her debts. Props to Chips for not lying, though. He loses points for refusing to go to Jam's restaurant because it's Chinese and not Japanese. Point still saying, she's living the American dream of being in debt. This leads to Jam trying to learn how to cook Japanese food from Baiken. It doesn't go well.
日本の料理も勉強した方がお客さん増えるかもね。あ、
また妙なのが来やがった。
お前確かジャパニーズね。
またその話かよ。
あたしの店世界各地の料理取り入れることにしたよ。お前日本の料理教えるね。
料理だ？しかってんだ。
ははん。お前料理できないあるな。
そうは言ってねえだろうが。
いいやある。ごまかせなくても。よく見たらなんかガサツだし。聞く相手間違ったね。何するか。
上等だ。料理してやるからじっとしてな。
She also tries to get Kai to eat at her restaurant because, and I quote, pretty boys will get her more customers. In Kai's story, she offered him tea and say there's medicine in it. It's actually poison, and then she will try to kidnap you to her restaurant. So yes, Jam is the type of person to not leave your cup around because she will pimp you out if you are hot enough. Yes, she legitimately roofies Kai, and it almost succeeds, but Kai is just built different. She also tried recruiting more people as well to save money, but the reasoning is unhinged for most of them. She tried recruiting Soul to try to avoid paying her gas bill. Tried to recruit RoboKai because, and I quote, you're a robot, so I wouldn't have to pay you. Tried to recruit Bridget because they would bring in the ladies in 5 years. So this game implied that Jam would be pro-AI, pro-child labor, and pro-tax evasion. It should be noticed that in Bridget's story, Bridget is trying to leave the business of being a bounty hunter and become an entertainer. Bridget's condition for working with Jam is that they can perform there, and Jam agrees. Also, Jam recognized that Bridget's body is male, meaning Jam is the second character to see Bridget's body to be that of a male, first being Potenkin in X2. I always liked that Jam provided Bridget an environment where they can truly express themselves. But yeah, this is pretty unhinged for Jam. Even for like me, I freaking laughed out loud when she said that thing about RoboKai. Like, you don't have human rights, so I don't have to pay you. There is one more ending. Well, actually, I didn't really talk about either of the endings. Well, the first ending is where you recruit Bridget and then you work together and make a successful restaurant. Business is booming and you're able to pay off your loans. The second ending is you take a member of the post administration bureau and then, while you're trying to take him to the restaurant, you run into Axel and then RoboKai comes back up and then, you're all just randomly shifted into another dimension. Sort of really weird to just randomly do that, but hey, I guess anything goes in Accent Core. I guess they really had no idea what to do with Jam, and that's kind of something that is progressive in the series.
ブリジット、2番テーブル料理上がったよ。はーい、今行きます。予想通り女の客が増えて商売繁盛。でも男の客も妙に増えたのはよくわからないある。ま、いいか。繁盛は繁盛ね。ブリジットまだ子供だから給料は安くて済むし。あたし経営の天才。ジャムさん、お客様2名様入ります。 了解ね。
Jam restaurant is destroyed again, and Jam goes out into the world as a bounty hunter for money for her restaurant again. In her journey for money, Jacko accompanies her to try and understand her reasoning for, well, keeping on going, the good old fight. Jacko can't understand why someone would continue to get up after getting knocked down so many times. Though Jam says something odd in this exchange, she says her restaurant been destroyed for the third time. But in canon, Jam restaurant has only been destroyed twice. First being in X2, being burnt down by Robokai, and second being Rev, which is never explained how it got destroyed. Unless they are counting the accent court ending where her restaurant is sent to another dimension, it's still really weird, but either way it isn't important, as the point is she keeps trying to make her dream real. Jacko then challenges her with a riddle after observing her for long enough. How do you care to get up when you have nothing to get up for, or to lose? Jam's answer to that is to do what you always do, save the world. Her major point being that you don't really need a reason to do something. If you can do it, just do it. It brings you happiness and it brings other happiness. As long as it doesn't harm others, just do it. It's something of a model that I live by myself.
あなたは？料理人、気分転換中。お前、賞金首か？独創的な挨拶ね。この世界の女は半々の確率で賞金首やれ。私、生まれる世界を間違ったかしら。で、その料理人さんがどうしてまた賞金首なんかにご用？手っ取り早く体験手に入るの。私を追ってきたわけじゃなさそうね。で、結局お前何よ。ただの家出。そう、あなたと同じで気分転換ってとこかしら。ねえ、よかったら少しの間話し相手になってくれない？
Jam is based off the Bruce Lee archetype. That being the type of character that has Rekka moves, that has mix-ups, that has a high mobility, but is usually famous for several moves that are common with these characters. The flying kick, the Rekkas, and movement type move. Whether it be a demon flip, a dash, whatever. Basically, that's what they're usually famous for. And Jam has almost all the stuff that you usually want. And another trait that is common with these characters is the dragon kick is just really powerful when you do it raw and you just randomly hit someone. In later games, they just buffed this to high heaven, to where random dragon kick does like almost 50% health. But the point is that this character archetype isn't unique. Almost every fighting game has this, and it's really hard to make it stand out when you have a bunch of Chinese characters that have the same type of moveset. That being said, I really like Jam. I think she might be my favorite version of this archetype. The main reason being that while she does have a lot of these things in common with them, the charging thing really just adds a lot of layers to it. Although I will say my least favorite thing about the charging input is simply that the fact that you can misinput it. You probably see in my gameplay that there are several times where I misinput the thing. I have never, and I mean never, had this problem with any other characters in fighting games, where I just randomly put in down. it's only seemed to be Jam, and I'm not exactly sure why that is. That being the case, I really hope and strive that they input a mechanic where you don't charge by accident anymore. By that I mean, like, if you have one stock and only one stock, make sure that you can't charge up again, because it's pointless to charge when you don't have a stock to charge. You get what I'm saying? But she has a lot of cool aspect to her. She has reverse beats, which is being able to go from heavy to medium to light, but also medium to light. Reverse beats are really cool, and it does make her stand out and make her feel like an outsider. It's usually what I want character to have when they're trying to have like someone feel like an outsider, just like a usual mechanic that you see in other games, but not really in Guilty Gear. I don't really think there's many characters with reverse beats in Guilty Gear, but I could be wrong. Another thing I like is that she has a dive kick. This is also common with a lot of Bruce Lee type characters, but Jam having a dive kick does feel a lot more organic, simply because she can usually combo off of it a lot more, and it's not just for ground combo, but it's the thing that I think make Jam stands out the most is that she can do a lot of air combos, and a lot of these air combos can just pick people off the ground and just go off. And so it's really freeing how much movement she has. You don't really feel limited in what you have to do or what you can do. You feel like, well, you just feel like a rush down that can just move around your opponent and just keep them guessing in a way that a lot of, and sorry about my voice, in a way that a lot of Bruce Lee type characters can't do as often. Like, I love that her Bakushin can just cross people up if you do the inputs close enough. But that being said, I do hope in the next game that they do give her a couple of new things, just stuff to really space her out compared to everyone else, especially like, because I feel like an example being Chie from Persona 4 Ultimax. She really takes a lot of Jam mechanics and then makes her a more fun character in a way, more balanced in as well. But like, it's just really hard to follow up Chie with Jam. So I kind of want them to do something unique. If they have to take away a lot of her stuff, then that's fine, as long as the thing that it's replacing is really, really unique to her. If you get what I'm saying. I didn't exactly know where else to put this, but I do feel the need to actually address it. Sex appeal is a huge factor of this character. Jam is a very attractive person, and she has large access. Choose in the X series of games, she has a win pose that she has where she leans over and shows her panties. By either accident or on purpose, she just doesn't really care either way. But she never been one to hide her body or her intentions. She's honest to who she is and is confident about herself. Plus, she's always been flirtatious. Hell, in the first game, she was looking at all the guys as an option. Not just Kai, but felt he was a golden jackpot of a man. In Rev, she's still shooting her shot at Kai. If you win with Jam against Kai in Rev, she will say that one day you will come across a better woman more suited for you. I'm that better woman. Please, please, Kai, just come with me. Dump that wife Dizzy and come with me. That's basically what she's saying. Like, she knows she got it and is flaunting it. But speaking of Rev, while she has a lot of panty shots, and he did remove her one win pose from the X series, she also has a mini game, funny enough, where not really a mini game, I call it a mini game, but it is sort of like something you're just like, you know, I'm kind of curious. I don't really care about this, but I am curious what I have. That being, every single day she wears a different type of panties. So whenever you're playing, you're just kind of wondering, okay, what am I wearing today? Point is, her sex appeal is her trying to pull attention to her, and she happily accepts that attention. Also, yes, she would canonically have an OnlyFans if she could.
お前はなんで家でしたか？
特に理由はないわ。他にもいろいろない。
いろいろ。それはお前が半分人間だからか？
半分ってどうして知ってるの？
木でわかるよ。なぜかお前の毛は普通の半分。
驚いたわ。あなた気の使い手でもあるのね。
残りの半分を探してるか？
ないものを探してるわけじゃない。あるはずのものを探してるの。私ね、何にもないの。不満も失って困るものも欲しいものもない。つまりないものがないの。不思議なことにそれが落ち着かないのよ。確かに転んだ時に起き上がるための理由なんていらない。ただあなたのようにそれを肯定したいの。私は自分を否定していないだけ。何かが違う。
新手の謎々か？
そう、謎々かもね。私はこの辺で別の道に行こうかな。短い間だったけど楽しかったわ。
そうか。じゃあツアーの代金はつけとくね。
あなたのそういうバイタリティ本当に見習いたいわ。
さっきの謎答え分かったよ。普通のことすればいい。世界を救うね。
いちいちエキセントリックなのよね。
特別なことないやろ。みんな普通にやってるよ。食う、寝る、遊ぶ。ああ、働かなくちゃ食えないから仕事もか。
それでどうやって世界を救うの？
そのままでいいよ。ただ生きる。生きてる間は世界があるね。ほら、世界を救ってる気になれる。自分の日常を守ることは自分を肯定すること。違うか？
それあなたの哲学？面白い。半分人間の私が世界を救えるかしら。
誰でもできるといいんだね。ちょっとかかってくるよろしい。
Jam is a really messy character, yet she's a really fun character. I didn't really go over how often she's put into stories that involve Japanese despite being Chinese, and how it implies that she isn't a great cook a few times. I think Rev is the first game to actually confirm her ability as a cook. X series didn't really say anything about her cooking, more or less, because, well, the cooking just never actually reached anyone. So she oftentimes would just be left with food on the table. And the one ending she has where she makes a restaurant, it's almost like a dream scenario. I don't think Daisuke knew if he wanted to make that canon or not. So he just was like, yeah, this is her fantasy about what she wants to do. Overall, I do like her, but she's an example of a character Daisuke added to remind people that the world of Guilty Gear had bounty hunters. As such, she usually used as set dressing for the background rather than the actual character. So you can ignore Jam and nothing will change much, like bounty hunters as a whole in the series. Her theme of endurance is more of a ref only thing, as most of the series her theme was about going for what you want, no matter the obstacle, which again made her more unhinged in some interaction. Seems that Strive is going more of the endurance angle, which is a bit of a shame, because I do like she is greedy and that she desires things for a simple reason rather than just some cost fallacy that endurance can lean into. But that's all for right now. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed, and I will be doing a follow-up video for Strive Jam. I just wanted to do this video covering Jam up to this point, so that way I can get like a full idea of who they want Jam to be in Strive.
でもなんだかな、ちょっと気が晴れたわ。理由がわからないときはわからなくてもいいね。獣は早く逃げることができなければ食われる。早く追うことができなければ飢える。でも人は違う。より長く走り続けられるやつが強く生き残る。だからちょっと気分を発散したらいつもの自分に戻る。あなたにとってその道は何？私は料理人ね。ありがとう。おかち持ちから出直しよ。